Hi everyone, this is Sig Suarez and welcome to another episode of Watch Manila. Today we are taking a look at one of my favorite watches from IWC, the Portugieser 40. The Portugieser 40 is one of the most overlooked watches and it is one of the most beautiful. I think it is one of the most perfect watches in every sense of the word. We will take a look at the watch and we will do an unboxing and I will give it a review. So before we go any further, please don't forget to subscribe to Watch Manila, follow us on Instagram and like this video and please support us. So let's go, let's take a look at the watch and let's see how beautiful it really is. We start with the unboxing of the watch. So when you remove the top case, you're going to see the watch pouch inside and a drawer at the bottom. And at the bottom you will see the following inclusions. This one is the IWC cleaning cloth, which comes with every IWC watch. So it's a microfiber cloth which can be used to shine up your watch. Next you have the IWC warranty booklet. So you're gonna see everything you need to know about the warranty and you're gonna have the warranty card at the back. The next is the operating instructions, your instruction manual. You're gonna see everything that you want to know or you need to know about your watch. So the drawer is done. Now we're going to set aside the box and go to the watch itself. So it's presented in this IWC watch pouch. And now you're going to see how beautiful the watch is. Just take a look at that. That's very, very beautiful. Very simple, clean lines. Every design element is where it should properly be. So look at that. The deployant clasp. Everything's just beautiful with this piece. Now let's go to the history of the Portugieser. Many of us are aware that the Portuguese or Portugieser line of IWC looks something like this. It's a relatively big watch with a dial full of sub-dials. The design is one of the looks of IWC during the past decades. However, many are not aware of the very simplistic history of the Portugieser. So for the past years, IWC has been pushing the more classic design of the Portugieser. During the late 1930s, a wholesaler from Lisbon, Portugal approached IWC requesting for men's wristwatches which had the precision of marine chronometers. The initial batch of Portuguese watches did not have a name nor a reference number. The only mark which identified some of the early examples were mod 228 or 228 inside the case back. Within IWC, there was a person who confused the case number designation as reference 325, which would stick as the model of the original Portuguese wristwatch. Interestingly, this reference never appeared in any IWC catalog. Despite the fact that a wholesaler from Portugal requested for the watch, the first delivery of the Portuguese was made to a Ukrainian watch wholesaler in Odessa and not in Portugal. The Portuguese was not a regular fixture in the IWC model lineup until around the 1990s, as the original Portuguese line was hit by the effects of World War II in the 1940s and the quartz crisis in the 1970s. Let's now go back to the watch. We take a look at the specifications. So it's made out of stainless steel. It's 40.4 mm case diameter. The height 12.3 mm. It comes with a blue alligator leather strap and it has a double deployant clasp. The movement is an in-house caliber 82200 automatic by IWC with a power reserve of 60 hours and the current SRP is at 460,000 pesos. Let's look at the design of the watch. you can clearly see the link of this IWC Portugieser 40 with the reference 325. As I've mentioned earlier, I am visually attracted to this piece, and I consider this as one of the cleanest and best looking watches released in recent history. The strap just looks so good with it, and it includes that double deployment clasp which I've mentioned earlier. So it is your plain two-hand watch with a small seconds sub-dial at 6 o'clock. The watch is casual enough to be worn daily, but can also be worn formally. This Portugieser uses Arabic numbers for the hour markers, which makes the formality level a notch down and makes it easier to be a daily wearer. The watch can easily be worn with jeans, in a suit and tie event, or even when you decide to take a vacation. Many will ask about the size, the weight, and the fit of the watch. As mentioned earlier, the watch has a case diameter of 40.4 mm and it is also thick at 12.3 mm. The thickness is where I am having difficulties with. The watch is plain thick, it's just really thick. For reference, the Rolex Submariner date, which is a proper dive watch, comes in at around 12.7 mm. They're just like 0.4 mm apart. The Omega Seamaster 007 edition comes in at 13 mm, which is 0.7 mm away. Now to drive a point, thickness in measurement is not an end-all be-all. There are watches which are thick when measured, but slimmer when worn. But this one is just really thick when measured and thick when worn. But then again, this thickness is the one which makes the watch look more casual. Other than the thickness, the watch wears perfectly. Weight is not out of the ordinary. You won't have any problems wearing it. On my wrist, while it wears big, it wears comfortably big, if there's even such a term. For my wrist at least, I would compare this watch to something like a Panerai, an oversized watch for my wrist. If you're not comfortable wearing an oversized watch for your wrist, then this watch is not for you if you have a wrist size like mine. But if you're comfortable wearing bigger watches than what should really fit in your wrist, then this watch is one of those which is comfortably big. Now as to the usability, how usable is this watch? Like what I previously mentioned, this watch is very versatile. It can be used for practically anything. Movement is automatic and has a healthy power reserve of around 2.5 days. The watch doesn't attract attention, which can be good especially if you find yourself in an unfamiliar territory or when you're traveling to places with high rates of street crime. The downside of this watch here for the Philippine use is that it is in leather. During very hot seasons like what we have now, it's going to get a little sticky. So overall, this watch is one of the most underrated watches available in the market today. The design is just timeless and elegant. I mean, just take a look at that beauty. The key question here is that, will the watch survive the evolution of design and function? Watches get bigger, smaller, functions get a little complicated, back to simple, and so on and so forth. The answer is yes. The case size of 40 mm will make it through the fluctuations of big and small case sizes. The simple dial with small seconds has been around for over a century, and I don't see it going away for the next century or two at the very least. I find this watch just amazing and I would very much recommend this one. Thanks for watching this video. We appreciate the support and we hope to see you in our next videos. Comment down below on what you think about the IWC Portugieser 40. I'll see you in our next episode. Please continue to join me. Watch the watches.